What if the biggest obstacle in your life was not the world around you, but the thoughts inside your own mind? Most people believe that problems come from outside, but sometimes the real battle is happening inside our heads. This is the story of a man who discovered that controlling his thoughts could completely change his life. Michael was an ordinary man living an ordinary life. He had a small job in an office, nothing special, nothing exciting. But there was something about Michael that made his life difficult. His mind never stopped thinking. Every morning he woke up with the same thoughts. What if I fail? What if people don't like me? What if something goes wrong today? These thoughts followed him everywhere, at work, at home. Even when he tried to sleep, his mind was like a room full of noise, and he couldn't turn it off. One day Michael made a small mistake at work, nothing serious, but his mind turned it into a disaster. What if my boss thinks I'm useless? What if I lose my job? What if everyone thinks I'm stupid? Hours passed, then days. But Michael was still thinking about that one small mistake. His mind kept replaying the moment again and again. He realized something strange. The mistake had lasted 10 seconds, but his mind had been suffering for 10 days. One evening, Michael met an old friend named Daniel. Daniel seemed calm, peaceful, confident. Michael asked him, "How do you stay so relaxed all the time?" Daniel smiled and said something unexpected. "I learned how to control my thoughts." Michael laughed. "That's impossible. Thoughts just happen." Daniel shook his head. "No, thoughts appear automatically, but you choose which ones you believe." Those words stayed in Michael's mind. Daniel gave Michael a simple exercise. Every time a negative thought appears, he said, ask yourself one question. Is this thought helping me or hurting me? The next day, Michael tried it. When a negative thought appeared, he stopped and asked the question, is this thought helping me? Most of the time, the answer was clear. No, the thought was only making him feel worse. At first, it was difficult. His mind still produced many negative thoughts. But slowly something started changing. Michael began replacing destructive thoughts with better ones. Instead of, "I'm going to fail," he said, "I will try my best." Instead of, "People will judge me," he said. Most people are too busy with their own lives. Day by day, his mind became quieter. Months passed. Michael's life didn't suddenly become perfect. He still had problems. He still made mistakes. But something important had changed. His reaction was different. Instead of panicking, he stayed calm. Instead of imagining the worst, he focused on solutions. People at work started noticing the change. His confidence grew. Opportunities appeared. Not because the world had changed, but because his mind had changed. One day Daniel explained the real lesson. Your mind is like a garden, he said. If you don't control it, weeds will grow automatically. But if you plant good seeds, your life will grow in a different direction. Michael finally understood. Thoughts are powerful. They shape our emotions. They influence our decisions. And over time, they create our lives. Most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them, but the real power lies somewhere else, inside their own mind. Because when you learn to control your thoughts, you begin to control your life. Remember this. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you think about it. And sometimes, that makes all the difference. If you enjoyed this story, Subscribe for more motivational and psychology stories that will help you improve your English and transform your mindset.